Hello, everyone. Welcome back to yet another political episode. So tomorrow is New Year's Eve. I want to thank you all for everyone for joining us throughout this year from January, where we talked about the Iowa caucuses and the primaries, presidential primaries, trying to get Donald Trump nominated for that Republican nomination to go into the 2024 election. He successfully won that election, and he will, of course, be the president coming in January, less than a month from now. We are touching base on probably our second to last video. This might be our last video. I'm possibly going to do a video on the recap of this year and see how it went. I did that last year, 2023. We'll see. I know I'm very busy on New Year's Eve, honestly. It's a holiday, so we'll see how I feel and how it goes. But ultimately, we got big news to talk about today. The Electoral College is changing, and although this does not affect the current 2028 election, in which Democrats, if they luck out, they could possibly win. But if they do win in 2028, which in this case, and it will change over the course of time, we have to see how Trump does in office. It's not going to be theirs forever because the Electoral College is rapidly changing out of the blue. And a lot of arguments against this will say, oh, these states aren't guaranteed to be red and blue forever. But let's go ahead and update the Electoral College before I continue. We need edits. Okay, we're going to edit the Electoral College map. And right here, perfect. We are going to go ahead and kind of change things. Here's the crazy thing. Rhode Island may be one congressional district. It may eliminate a congressional district, as a lot of people are leaving Rhode Island. You're seeing a lot of people here moving from these totalitarian left-wing, crazy left-wing states. And obviously you're seeing states, and we've seen the trend where we've seen red states, all of which Trump won. The redder the state, it seems, the more electoral votes they're getting. Like Texas, Florida have the most. And here, the liberal media, they go and they tell us, oh, Texas and Florida, they're horrible states. They're bigoted states. Texas and their immigration thing, and then Florida with their book bans and all that stuff, abortion, Texas abortion. And here, everyone's moving to Texas, despite abortion being outlawed completely. Florida, abortion is legal, but honestly, it's still, they still, of course, they're not happy about that either. And it seems most people are going to these red states because the liberal media is biased. We don't need to establish that. We know they're biased, and we're seeing the patterns here. You're seeing in most corrupt states, California being the number one. You're seeing the administration of Gavin Newsom, his new name, Newsom, he is, of course, driving out thousands of Californians. They are fleeing to different states. A lot of them could be Florida and Texas. They're going to these red states. And ultimately, it could be because of, not only just because of Gavin Newsom, but we also talked about the Oakland city mayor that has been recalled. There's also Oakland, which is just another Chicago and a New York, where the mayor has too much power and she's abusing her power and letting her citizens suffer through the crime. And all of this because she's an entitled person of color, an entitled woman of color, and that she is entitled to zero criticism. And if there is criticism, then you are a bigot, you are a sexist, and you're a racist for pointing that out. And you must hate people of color, even though you're obviously doing a bad job. Okay, but of course that mayor has been recalled. She's gone. I'm happy and all that stuff. But California is still a you-know-what hole. I'm not going to say the word. Keep our language clean. But you get what I'm saying. Illinois. same deal. Who's in Illinois? Brandon Johnson, and he is stubborn, like super duper stubborn. And we're seeing the cases where we have black African-American Chicagoans or Chicagoites. They are coming out and testifying before Brandon Johnson in a city hall, in the city council meeting, slamming him. And Brandon Johnson, not one person came up to him and say how good of a job he's doing. It's always about how bad he's doing. And obviously you can tell Brandon Johnson is frustrated because he's not doubling down on his criticisms. He is obviously stuck up, and he is resisting Tom Homan and Donald Trump's desires for a mass deportation. But Brandon Johnson originally expressed concerns about the migrant crime, but now that Trump won and and of course Tom Homan's appointed as borders are, Brandon Johnson is just stubborn. It seems like he's dead set and just destroying his whole city. He doesn't get it. He's the most dumbest, dense mayor on the planet, and he doesn't, like, 2022, he thinks, oh, it's a blue city. No, here's the thing. Mr. Johnson, you can be taken out pretty easily. If you guys are unaware, Republicans, not really popular in the mayoral, that said election for Chicago. I don't think there were any set of Republicans that ran, but yes, 2023. So we have a ways to go. And I think that's why Brandon Johnson here thinks that, I can behave like this. I can become an authoritarian dictator, which he literally is, by the way. He's acting like a dictator in his own city. Oh, we'll use the police against Tom Homan and Donald Trump. We'll go against the federal government and their wishes. We'll even go against our own cities and the people of that said city's interests. And guess what? We got, of course, Governor J.B. Pritzker, who, of course, is the authoritarian dictator of Illinois. He was bad from day one. He almost lost Illinois in a record number. He seems to have a hard time. I mean, he defeated the Republican governor, who's a rhino, by the way. But it looks like Illinoisans had second thoughts on him. You'll see he's lost these two counties. But yeah, it seems Illinois has been going rightward lately. And now JB has come out in defense for Brandon Johnson. He's saying, oh, Tom Homan, we won't let you. And this is just going to set the future Democrat in 2026 up for a lot of problems in that state. We've seen Illinois take a rightward shift this election cycle, and who knows? If part of the rightward shift is Brandon Johnson of Chicago, Illinois. That's part of his deal. And then you have J.B. Pritzker, who has recently been taking his fat face in the news and he wants some attention too, and basically going out and saying, he's supporting Brandon Johnson. Oh, we'll send the National Guard to help you, Brandon. I guarantee he would do that. But of course, Tom Homan has came out and he's specifically said we're starting in Illinois. We're starting in Chicago. And it's just a tyranny in Illinois that explains why Illinois is losing electoral votes. They're not realizing that they're giving these red states like Texas, let's see, I'm trying to make it here. Texas right here, more electoral votes, which means ability to win is going to increase. Florida, of course, more electoral votes. And you're taking away votes from New York because of your stupid, extreme, far-left policies. And yeah, take a look at California, too. Oh, California. California, it's the biggest prize of them all, and it's losing electoral votes like crazy. And we could see in the future that Texas becomes more populated than California, because we do have migrants coming in, but they're hoping that these migrants become registered citizens. That's why I'm thinking the reason why Democrats, they're not so cooperative with this mass deportation. They're hoping that these refugees, the migrants, will become U.S. citizens and then vote Democrat, fund the DNC. They'll become minions of the Democrat Party. More voters, and especially in this area, in southern Texas, in areas like Austin, San Antonio, El Paso, and Houston and Dallas. That's going to be critical. And what they're hoping is to flip Texas blue. I think Texas has a long way to go to become a solid red state. But compared to the last election cycles, we've seen Texas be leaning Republican. This is the first time in 2012 presidential election where Texas is comfortably voting over a 10-point margin streak. So, yeah, looking at here, you'll see 57% for Mitt Romney. You'll see part of that is Houston. Here is Harris County is lightly in the light color for Barack Obama. Those votes are going to Mitt Romney. You'll see Dallas County a little lighter blue, and you're seeing the more color blue is the southern Texas. So what's changing? Like I said, I already made it clear. Rhode Island, the state there, pretty liberal. It has not made much news there lately. We know what's going on in New York. We have a very horrible governor who went out in the subway and said, look at here, the subway is very safe, very, very secure. And they go out and they said that as a result, and then a day later, some maniac illegal immigrant decides to light on fire a homeless woman and watch her blaze into ashes. And this has infuriated the state of New York. It was like Kathy Hochul is just so dead set in getting paid, getting people into New York and living. No. She is willing to have you walk in and have you be lit on fire by idiot illegal immigrants, just because she wants the tourism to go up. She wants the businesses to succeed, because the businesses in New York aren't doing well, because people are afraid to leave their homes because of these idiotic terrorists. Illegal immigrants. And I'm saying the word terrorist because if you take a match and torch someone, that's a terrorist. That's an act of terrorism. A lot of, we have terrorist groups in the United States, MS-13, Tren de Aragua. These are terrorist groups that the Democrats let in. And if this was ISIS or Al-Qaeda or Al-Nusra, we would treat this more urgently. We would definitely treat this more urgently. But just because we haven't heard of these terrorist gang groups, and we call them gang groups because the Democrats but they're terrorist groups, guys. They're terrorists. They're terrorists. Because they're doing terrorist stuff. Lighting people on fire is an act of terrorism. So, when you have people being lit on fire on New York, and you have your governor who really doesn't give a you-know-what about it, and will continue to be unapologetic, and will continue to claim that she's working with Tom Homan, even though she's blatantly lying to the faces of her own people. You're going to lose a lot of people. You're -3. I'm not surprised. So, 28 minus 3. Now, take out the trusty calculator. That would be... Make this an equation. 25. So 25 electoral votes. So, of course, New York is losing electoral votes. Obviously, Florida has more electoral votes than New York. That's devastating. And that's a sign already in today's Electoral College, that things are not looking good for Democrats. It is looking horrible for them. So you got New York. You also got Pennsylvania, which is surprising. I would say nothing really corrupt going on there. Philadelphia is also a really bad city when it comes to crime. But then again, people, conservatives there will think, oh, maybe Florida's more free or something like that. They'll go there. Can't explain their reasoning. I think Pennsylvania is a good state, but the Philadelphia area is not so much. 17 electoral votes for North Carolina. Obviously, it's a state that is more free. It's a Democrat governor there, and of course, a new Democrat governor will be taking over and very soon. I don't know if it's 2025 or possibly he's already taken power, but the legislature is Republican there, and it has a very strong freedom, libertarian sort of atmosphere. Great place to grow a business, in a safe place that really does take control of crime. Georgia, other than Atlanta is really bad, but it seems it's growing despite that. People maybe will be going out of Atlanta or living out like in Cobb or Gwinnett counties. We are seeing those counties growing despite Atlanta really being the center of just a lot of crime. We got 34 electoral votes going into Florida. That's going to really benefit Republicans there. We have more electoral votes. You'll see Tennessee will gain one. You'll see, despite Memphis being probably the most worst city in America, we obviously got Chattanooga, Tennessee, got Nashville, which is also a bad city for crime. There are also some alternatives. What else? We have Illinois, obviously, and we went over why Illinois is so bad. Yeah, 19 electoral votes is the same proportionate as Pennsylvania, which is a lot of people are saying is a red state now. So I think it's 17 or 16. Play around with the gamble. 19 minus 2 equals 17. Not the TV show, 19 minus 2. That's a police movie from Canada, but you get what I'm saying. 17 electoral votes. Same proportion as Georgia. Here. You got Minnesota. People are leaving Minnesota. Absolutely. And it's because of our pathetic governor, Tampon Tim. You'll see 9 electoral votes. I thought originally we were supposed to have 9 electoral votes, but there was a dispute. We found out that we are keeping a district, and the question still remains, what district would we be eliminating? Probably the least populated district. It probably would be maybe the 7th district. I have a hard time believing, well, maybe it's the 8th district. I don't know. Least unpopulated district would be eliminated. I don't know how that really works. Have a hard time believing the 6th district would be eliminated. It's pretty suburban and secluded. But obviously, people in Minnesota, they're like Governor DeSantis has clearly said straight out, a lot of them are flocking to Florida. Governor DeSantis has said that he's met a lot of people from Minnesota that have fled because of Tim Walz and his terror regime. And regards to that, let's take a look for electoral votes going into Texas. That is very beneficial for Republicans. I'm telling you, Democrats are shooting themselves in the foot for these woke policies. Gavin Newsom, Kathy Hochul, J.B. Pritzker, they're destroying the Democrats' chances in winning in these elections. 50 electoral votes, allegedly. Minus. Now this is looking a little weird, don't you think? It's supposed to be 538. 7. Okay, so 518. So we have tampered around by a little bit. I wonder what we did. It's not supposed to be 518. That's for sure. We got. Yeah, I think we eliminated a little bit. Oh, I see. This is look at Idaho. Okay. All right. Yes. We screwed up. We need the current Electoral College out. The reason why we were wrong, we took away the electoral votes for Idaho, Utah, and Arizona. So ideally, Arizona would get 12. Utah would get 7. I'm curious to see Salt Lake City in regards to that. And Idaho, 5. Let's see if it works. Okay. There's still something wrong. I think we need to eliminate one more. It's supposed to be 538 always. So yes, I'm double checking everything. Yeah, that means we would have to take one more vote away. Maybe we have to take one more vote away from California. But I doubt it. I honestly really doubt it. 54 minus 4. That's 50. We were right about California. Oh, it might just be New York. Whoops. Okay. 25. Okay, we were right about that. That's weird. We eliminated one. We eliminated one in Rhode Island, which we have clarified would be a at-large congressional district. Eliminate 2. That would be 17. 1 in Minnesota. Plus 4 in... And I thought that Texas was... How many? 40 electoral votes, if I'm not mistaken. Yes, 40. That would be 44. 7, 5. Okay. I think we did very well, but I don't know what we got wrong. Rhode Island. It has to be. Oh, let's take a look at Florida. It's Florida. It's actually 33. Okay, we gave 34, 33 electoral votes. So finally, after this map, I should have created this a long time ago, but looking at this wonderful map, we're going to go ahead and give the the states, obviously, leaving the 7 swing states up for grabs. Current map situation with the swing states, 7 of them undecided. And I'll show you how we have, of course, the favor. So looking here, you got, okay, 99. You got 6. Whoops. And then again, we should try to contest the 2nd electoral district. Make sure we want to make it at large. That'd be a smart thing to do. If we can make that compatible. But yeah, you'll see already Republicans. Oh yeah, did give Georgia. There we go. Republicans kind of have the lead in the Electoral College when we have these 7 swing states more of tossed up. 95 electoral votes up for grabs. And this, of course, would be in scenarios for 2030. Let's just say the real ruling, how I usually see this through, is I usually have North Carolina, Georgia, Arizona. And with those states alone, that would be enough to win the presidency. That's outstanding. Along with Nevada, this is how I typically see the. This is how I typically see the how the states typically vote. If you were to eliminate the swing state theory, this is kind of the average. And you'll see, reverting back to the normal Electoral College, Democrats would have had won this election, but because a lot of people from California fled to Texas, or Minnesotans fled to Florida, or something like that, you will clearly see the map changed. And really, obviously, Democrats can still win in Georgia, North Carolina, Arizona. They can still win the presidency, but Republicans can now rest themselves in ease and say, hey, look, we do not need to win the blue wall. Wisconsin, Michigan, and Pennsylvania, easier to win, obviously, if it's a good year for Republicans. But Republicans will know and just say to themselves, hey, look, we just need North Carolina, Georgia, and Arizona, and we win the presidency. It's that simple. There also, you technically have Nevada, which has gone more into a rightward shift in favors for Republicans. And really, in other words, if you win Nevada, also, yeah, you win the presidency also. Yeah, and then you get a 29-29 split in this sort of scenario. But of course, I find this to be very interesting. This is not the official 2030 Electoral College, but I'll tell you, there's a lot to still continue on, and you just need to say, hey, look, we don't like it what these horrible mayors are doing. But they're not only giving bad vibes to their own party and basically saying the virtues and giving all these average day American people and these views of how they think of the Democratic Party, they're basically setting themselves to lose in the future. Maybe if the Democrats make a comeback and they suddenly have positive views, well, it's because of your bad governance and the idea that all these left-wing voters or these moderate or they can be Republicans even, and flock to Florida and all that stuff. You have these voters that obviously those that give you the ability to win those electoral votes. They are going to other states, which will boost the electoral vote count in red states. And that obviously is a bad sign for the future for the Democrat Party. So what do you guys think in regards to this video? Let me know down below. And as always, I'll see you all in the next political episode.